Rain poured down the cracked highway, blurring the neon lights of a rundown diner on the edge of town. A group of bikers roared into the parking lot, their laughter echoing like thunder against the storm. Leather jackets, heavy boots, and the clink of chains, they looked like the kind of men no one wanted to cross. But that night, someone did, though not on purpose. A teenage girl stood beside a dented old scooter, clutching a small paper bag that was starting to fall apart in the rain. Her jacket hung loosely from her shoulders, oversized, faded, and covered with patches stitched by an unsteady hand. One patch in particular caught the bikers' attention, and their laughter grew louder. "Hey, sweetheart," one of them called out, stepping closer, "you lose your way to the costume party?" The girl flinched but said nothing. She was shivering, her sneakers soaked, her hair sticking to her face. She looked no older than 16. The men exchanged amused glances. One pointed to the patch on her jacket, an old military insignia stitched in gold and black. "Where'd you get that?" he said mockingly. "From a thrift store?" The girl's voice trembled, but her eyes, those eyes, burned steady. "No," she whispered. "It was my dad's." That made them pause, just a little. But the leader, a tall, broad man with a scar running down his jaw, only smirked. "Your dad a soldier or something?" She nodded. "He was." "Was," another biker said, tone softening a bit. "He didn't make it home," she said quietly, looking down. "He died saving his unit." The laughter faded into silence. Rain pattered softly against metal and leather. The men shifted uneasily. The patch, the one they'd mocked, bore the emblem of a fallen regiment. A name curved above it in careful embroidery: Sergeant Luke Carter, my hero. The leader swallowed hard. He knew that name. Everyone who'd ever served did. Sergeant Carter wasn't just a soldier, he was a legend. A man who'd stayed behind so others could live. And now, his daughter stood in front of them, cold, alone, wearing his jacket like a shield. She didn't expect them to say anything. She just wanted to get her food and leave. She worked double shifts at the diner across town, and every night she stopped here to bring dinner for her mom. Her dad's old jacket was all she had left of him. The patch was a piece of pride stitched over heartbreak. But that night, something changed. The biker leader, whose name was Ray, took a step forward. "Kid," he said gruffly, "you shouldn't be out here in this storm." "I'm fine," she said, brushing past him. "I can take care of myself." He hesitated, then held out a hand. "Let me help you with that," he said, nodding toward her paper bag. She looked at him warily. "I said I'm fine." And she walked off, leaving him standing there, soaked and speechless. The next night, she came again, same place, same storm. But this time, when she stepped out of the diner, a bike was parked beside her scooter. Ray was sitting on it, waiting. "Relax," he said as she froze. "I just wanted to make sure you got home safe. I don't need a babysitter." "I know," he said quietly. "But your dad once made sure a few of my friends got home safe. Least I can do is return the favor." That stopped her cold. He told her how, years ago, Sergeant Carter's unit had saved his brother, pulled him out of an ambush when everyone else thought he was gone. "Your old man," Ray said, voice thick, "he was the kind of man every soldier wished they could be." She didn't know what to say. She just clutched her dad's jacket tighter. For the first time in years, she didn't feel completely alone. Over the next few weeks, something unexpected began to happen. The bikers, those same men who had laughed at her jacket, started showing up at the diner. They never said much, just sat quietly at a corner table, tipping extra when she brought their coffee. When her scooter broke down, they fixed it. When she worked late, one of them always followed her home to make sure she was safe. It wasn't pity. It was respect. Ray became like the uncle she never had, gruff, stubborn, but kind in his own broken way. He told her stories about the road, about the mistakes he'd made, and about how sometimes, people wear scars not to show strength, but to remember what they've lost. One night, she asked him, "Do you ever stop missing them? The people you lose?" He looked at her for a long moment, then said softly, "No. You just learn to ride with the pain until it feels like part of the wind." Months later, the diner hosted a charity ride for veterans. Dozens of bikers showed up, engines roaring, flags flying, leather jackets gleaming. At the front of the line stood Ray, and beside him, the girl with her father's jacket. A fresh patch was sewn under her dad's Ride for the Fallen. As she climbed onto her scooter, Ray grinned. "You sure you can keep up, kid?" She smiled. "Try me." And together, they rode the rough bikers who'd once laughed, now following the daughter of a hero through the open road. The wind carried the sound of engines, rain, and something else, pride, maybe. Or healing. Because sometimes, the loudest silence isn't in the storm, it's in the moment when people finally understand what another person carries. And that night, every biker on that road understood. They didn't laugh again.